Because I want the world to know about my daughter and the lives that are being taken way too soon. Fentanyl is taking out generations. And I don't want any more families to go through what me and my family have went through. Funny, goofy, loving. Had to watch every move she made. She was a spitfire, for sure. But had the most loving heart of any kid I've ever seen.
There were moments that we didn't, but for the most part, we got along perfectly. We were joined at the hip. She was my best friend. She was outgoing, fun, positive. She was a bright light to everyone that she met.
She was funny. Her giggle. That's probably one thing I miss the most is her giggle.
Her grades were average, I would say. She tried her best. She was a really good student, though. I would say that she definitely did try her best.
She did okay. We ended up going and getting her GED, but she did graduate. It wasn't more of a GED. It was more she went and got her high school diploma through kind of like Job Corps. But she did graduate, and I did get to see her walk across that stage, and that was amazing. That's when all the problems started.
When she graduated.
As she grew up, things did change. As a matter of fact, when she met her ex-boyfriend, that's when we started to notice that she kind of went downhill.
She met a particular boy, and that boy absolutely destroyed the Gabby I knew.
You know a person as, how you knew them before they got on drugs. And I think as they, start to turn into a person that you don't know, it's hard. It really is. It's hard to watch them go through that.
He started mentally abusing her, and then it went to the physical. And the only thing Gabby had ever done before she'd met him was marijuana. And he got her started on pills. And I had no idea that he was a huge drug dealer in Greene County, Tennessee. None. And he took the Gabby that I knew and turned her into somebody I never imagined even meeting. We moved down here about 5 years ago, and I moved Gabby with us. And she was so addicted and brainwashed that the day after we got down here, she called him and had him come pick her up and went back to Tennessee. I kind of tried the hard love route for a while. I could not talk to her.
We kind of just tried to help her the best way possible. There wasn't really much we could do besides, tell her, hey, we're here for you and we will try and help you through it. But we just kind of tried to lend her a helping hand, just let her know that, hey, we're here for you and we're going to try and do everything possible to help you through this. I think if you don't have that kind of support system, it makes it a lot harder for your addiction. I think if you have a strong, loving home and, grounds, you have a lot more hope to come out of it.
He had mentally abused her to the point that he pulled her away from all of her friends and family. Before she had met him, she was with me practically 24/7. And after that, it was very, very rare that I got to see her. I kept getting calls 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Mama, he's beat me again. Can you please come get me? I did that probably for 2.5 years before we moved down here. And I was lucky enough in May of 2023. It had been 2 years since I had seen her. And I got to go up there and spend a few days with her. She was so skinny. And she was so messed up. And she couldn't even spend time with me and my mom and her sister. She was wanting the drugs so bad. I got some pictures. I went home, and I was about an hour away from home, and I got a phone call that Gabby had been arrested, that her abuser had had drugs, and she had got busted with them and took the fall. And she spent 3 months in jail, and we talked the whole time. And then she went to rehab, and I started seeing a huge change in her. She started putting on weight. She started talking about God again. And that was something I hadn't heard out of her mouth in almost 6 years. And she told me that when she got out, she wanted to complete her drug court program, and she wanted to go to school to become a drug counselor and domestic violence for young girls. And she said, "Mom, I've given my life back to God." And that was absolutely amazing for me to hear. Absolutely amazing. And they had to have songs for when they graduated from rehab. And hers was going to be "Nobody" by Casting Crows. And I was so proud of her. And she completed rehab. And she went and stayed with one that I consider to be a little brother. And 2 days later, my daughter was dead. She got out of rehab. She wanted to go get her belongings from her abuser. And as I said, she was very headstrong. She said, "I can do this by myself." And I had the worst feeling in the pit of my stomach. And I begged her not to go. He had a couple of people come and pick her up where she was staying. And I know for a fact that she was clean when she left with him. He had busted her phone and said it had gotten stolen. So I had no way to contact her that night. And the next morning, I was sitting outside. And got a message from the local hospital in Greene County asking me to contact them as soon as possible. And it took me about 2 minutes of screaming. He finally killed her before he would tell me that she was gone. He said that they worked on her for over 45 minutes trying to bring her back, but to no avail. There was too many things in her system. Undoubtedly, her abuser was pressing pills and had put a concoction of fentanyl along with other drugs and forced her to take it along with beating her. And my angel was dead. There was scrapes across her nose. It had been dug out in the bridge of her nose. They tried to tell me that the marks on her nose was from the resuscitation mask. But when I called the EMT director of Greene County, he said there was absolutely no physical way that the mask had caused the damage that was done to my daughter. There were marks across her arms and on her little legs. undoubtedly she had a brain bleed as well. And when I called the coroner, they said that they did not believe that the brain bleed was from the overdose itself.
So there was evidence of a struggle, of a fight, of
Yes.
trauma.
Yes. Along with the fact that his grandmother told us that when she walked in the room, right before she called 911, that Gabby was laying there naked. But yet, she had went and burnt my daughter's belongings. And the cops never even investigated it. I'm trying to understand, if she was laying there naked, how did her clothes smell so bad that you thought you had to burn them? So, Greene County, when it was laid on the detective's desk, said they literally told him it would never be solved, that it was just another druggie. And they definitely let her down because it wasn't investigated. This wasn't the first person that he had killed with drugs. He'd also shot his best friend in the back because he was messed up on pills, fed him pills up until trial, and then just dropped him. He had let another good friend of theirs overdose and busted my daughter's phone when she tried to call 911 to get him help. And Greene County knows, and they don't care. Him and his whole family are selling fentanyl and killing people on a daily, and Greene County does not care. I knew a lot more than I guess most moms should have known. But when she got busted, she came clean about a lot of things. And one of the things that I had gotten told was that they owned a pill press and were going to Knoxville, Tennessee to press those pills. And I firmly believe, had he not manipulated and brainwashed her and beat her the way he did, that my daughter would have never been in the predicament that she got put in. It was also said that they had tried to get her to wear a wire, and there are rumors going around that that's exactly what got my daughter killed. She did tell me that she had tried to say something about the person that he was getting the stuff from, and undoubtedly somebody alerted him and he had cleaned the house before the law got there, which is quite common up there. Very common. I have a feeling there's quite a few leaks in the departments. And to them up there, if it's another drug overdose, they could care less. During that same time, there were two other young women. One was found in a field, the other one in an abandoned house, and it was all over drugs. And most of it was fentanyl. And Greene County just, they don't care.
Is this a sheriff's office?
Yeah. The detectives up there, they could care less. If I got a phone call from them, it was only because I had hounded them and left multiple phone calls trying to get somebody to respond back to me. When I told them about the grandmother had burnt the stuff, they said, oh, well, we saw it, but we didn't feel like it was important. How can burning evidence not be important? So, I have been fighting almost 2 years trying to get answers. There was 3 people alive in that house that night, and the next morning only 2 were alive. I called DEA in Knoxville, and I pretty much got told to shut my mouth, to let it go. So that's just made me push even harder. I am one of those. I am one of the mama bears. I want answers, and I'm not going to stop till I get them. Her abuser and the drug dealer that he is, he needs to be put behind bars for the rest of his life because he will continue to kill. And it's a family organization. His uncle's in on it. His mom's in on it. And they're all sitting in Greene County. His mom has got charges for trying to bring Judge into a penal institution twice. The DA of Greene County, Tennessee seems to be more worried about anything else other than drug dealers. The drug dealers get caught and they're out within 3 days. Somebody gets caught for a speeding ticket and they can spend 3 months. And all I have heard is it is because the DA refuses to prosecute. There was a phone call made while my daughter was still in jail between her and her abuser, who also is the dealer. And in this phone call, it was right after she had went in and she was begging him for something. And he told her, he said, "Wait till you get out. I promise you I'll have you enough to kill you." And that's exactly what he did.
I lost my best friend in the whole wide world. And I'm still trying my best to navigate through the loss of her not being here anymore. You know, it's really hard on me and my family, and especially hard on me. I don't know how to get through life without her. I'm still struggling. I have been journaling. So I write down all my feelings, you know, and I think that's a good coping mechanism to what I could do. I think it's a good outlet for me. I don't do it, you know, every day, but when I get the urge and I miss my sister, I do journal, and it has helped me quite a bit. Letting your feelings out it helps heal you. This has definitely been a really healing experience for me. I can't thank you guys enough for what you do. I really can't.
I lean on God and my family because without them, I don't think I would even be here. Her death has definitely heightened my faith for sure. I have turned to Him. I know where she is. I know that the minute she closed her eyes, she opened them in God's arms. And that brings a smile to my face, and that's how I sleep at night. I know she's watching over me. God, Glenn, I miss her.